All right, here's a quick video of the doorway. So that's the finished casing. I just have a piece of foam there so the cats don't get in there. There's the finished casing with the recessed rabbet cut all the way around. This is the mock-up of the trim, the wide unpainted trim that's in the recessed rabbet. And the problem is this top header, when I chainsawed that out, it's kind of irregular, and I already insulated and foamed it and stuff. So instead of doing just a square rectangular header like I did over top of the windows, I thought it would be neat to do a half log that projects kind of like an awning over top of the door. And the problem is, to cut the back of it, of the half log, so it sits into that recess. So here's the finished product. There's the half log. You'll see it in a second, but in the back I had to make this big, I don't know what you call that, mortise or tenon, irregular shaped tenon to fit in that irregular shaped pocket that's up there. So I'll set it in place and show you what it looks like finished. It's not going to be fastened yet, but it's pretty heavy. Right there. And then you just gotta imagine the trim on either side obviously will be painted too. But you see how I had to scribe fit it. See how tight that looks against the log on the side. And you can see how much it hangs over the door. Kind of gives it a neat, I don't know, architectural element over top of the doorway. So it should be really neat when all the trim's up. You can see I got the half log awning, whatever you want to call that, above the doorway that turned out really good. Look at that. And one side of the trim on the left side, just to kind of show you, you can see the other side's got the rabbet cut in the logs to receive the trim. And here's the side that's complete. And got them screw fastened with big 3-inch construction screws, and then dowel plugged to give the appearance that it was attached with dowels. So I haven't painted painted the little dowels yet, but it'll look just like the window. See how the window, you can see it's got the dowels, but they're painted. So that's what the doorway will look like that. And then I'll be doing the threshold, the rest of the other half of the threshold for the exterior, and then there's one on the other side for the interior that will marry to that center threshold, and then it'll all be painted. So the interior will not be painted inside the doorway jamb, but the exterior will be. The entire exterior of the cabin is now complete. Landscaping, trim, everything, with the exception of the door, obviously. But there isn't any more work to do on the exterior of the cabin. You can see on the side of the deck, I use these large square washers, metal washers, as part of the fastening system. Those are salvaged square washers. And I used a real large one as my electrical plate cover behind the lantern light. You can see the armored wire that comes out from the wall behind it there. And so here's the trim, the half log awning and the trim for the doorway. And I recently completed the threshold, the exterior portion of the threshold, and I used some diamond shaped square washers there as well. And it's a neat accent, but I think it also provides a little bit of extra support. Those are pretty thick 5-inch bolts that go in, so when you step on the very edge of the threshold, it's even giving it added support. On the top, I've got 3-inch construction screws that are recessed down into the log below it, and I capped them off with dowel plugs. The threshold is like an eighth of an inch lower than the sill unpainted portion of the threshold, just barely putting the tops of these little nub dowels even with it. So I debated about chiseling or sawing the tops of those to make them flush. I don't know, it kind of looks neat, and maybe it even provides a little slip resistance of those little nubs, but it's not going to interfere with the door or anything, and I think it just kind of looks interesting. Kind of catches the eye, your eye, when you walk up to the doorway. So I'll see. I'm kind of debating over that. But that's it. The entire doorway, threshold, exterior portion anyways, and the trim is all done.